You know, I think, yeah, it's about time to go out there and make this video. We needed to, right? There's no way we can't, because when it comes to Edmonton Oilers defenseman Evan Bouchard, I feel like this actually is something that we have to go out there one more time and say. And I say one more time because if I search up here on YouTube, Lego Rocks 99, and then I'll search Evan Bouchard. You can hear me typing out here on the computer screen. I should have had this ready, but I did not. My bad. Take a look at some of the videos that we had made about Evan Bouchard in the past. I was wrong about Evan Bouchard 3 years ago. You know what? I want to use that title. I want to use it again, because now in 2024, actually, you know what? We made this video twice. I was wrong about Evan Bouchard back in 2021. I was so wrong about Evan Bouchard back a year ago. Now, I think this is the time to make one more video, because when it comes to this dude, yeah, all this stuff that we had talked about his overall profile, I mean, this right here. This playoff number, this is more than what we could have ever expected out of the big man himself. Bouchard is 24 years old, putting up 25 points in 17 games in the postseason, 6 goals, 19 assists, over an assist a game, and he is scoring some big clutch goals too. What an improvement over the 82 points he had in 81 games played. Honestly, his postseason production has been so good his entire career. Even 2 seasons ago, when he was only at half a point a game in the regular season, he still had 9 points in 16 games in the playoffs. When the going matters the most, that is when Evan Bouchard comes to play. And I wanted to go out there and talk about some of the numbers that support just how good he's really been. Starting out with this, World Hockey Report went out there and said that Evan Bouchard embarrassed Quinn Hughes in this series, of course referring to last series. We made a video about this a few days ago. It was a pretty big deal in my opinion, because as a Canucks fan I get hurt anytime Quinn Hughes gets talked down to in the media, but honestly, talking about impact, talking about how these guys performed, Evan Bouchard was the best defenseman in the Canucks and Oilers series. And if you want to talk about the numbers as to what he's doing recently, so he did have himself 2 assists in the 3-1 win against Dallas yesterday. Now the Oilers have 1 win to advance to the Stanley Cup Finals. How crazy is that? But with the 2 assists that Bouchard ended up scoring, he's added his name to a short NHL playoffs list. Bouchard makes record books. He became the 3rd fastest defenseman in NHL history to reach 50 playoff points, behind only Bobby Orr and Brian Leetch. Bouchard did it in 45 games played, Orr did it in 39, and Leetch did it in 41. These are 2 of the best defensemen of all time, Orr and Leetch, and Bouchard is now right up in that territory too. I mean, I'm not saying that Bouchard is like that good right away. He's not Bobby Orr, nobody is, but that's pretty darn close. And if you wanted to say he plays with McDavid, that's why he's able to get the points, I'm just going to assume that you also lick doorknobs for a hobby. Look, I'll say this. Evan Bouchard playing with Connor McDavid helps. It does. Like, it's not something you can deny at this point. McDavid and Draisaitl help out their players in scoring points. Wow, that's crazy, right? I'm blowing your mind here, right? But Bouchard himself is just so effective, as we had said, in creating those open lanes, in finding those open lanes, in putting the puck on goal to set up rebounds, and just firing the puck into open space, either in the net or to where his teammates are at. He is so good at just understanding what he needs to do that his lack of foot speed and the issues that we had talked about in the past about his engagement defensively, especially during his time with the London Knights, these are not issues anymore if the guy's going out there and scoring 2-3 assists every game. Who cares if the guy's not the best defensively if he's going out there and putting the puck in the back of the net in the power play every other power play? Like, this is just the trade-off when you have a guy who is purely focused on offense ever since he was a player in junior. And the fact that the Oilers took him 10th overall seems to be a huge steal at this point when you consider the other guys that were taken in that range. Sure, Quinn Hughes is like the big standout falling down player who is supposed to go a lot higher when compared to his current talent level, but other than that, I mean, Bouchard went after Adam Boqvist, Philip Zadina. Kotkaniemi. You could even debate Dahlin and Hughes if you wanted to say that, but realistically, let's go back to some of the conversations of that time frame. Those discussions about Bouchard and his defensive play were pretty impactful, and his lack of foot speed was something to note too, which is why he slipped all the way to 10. It's why he was the, fourth defenseman taken off the board behind Boqvist, Hughes, and Dahlin. Even the next one, Noah Dobson, what an absolute monster he has been. The two righties out of the CHL that season have been so good. But let's go back over to Evan Bouchard and talk about some of these other numbers over here. Most points by a defenseman in the first 16 games of the postseason. Paul Coffey had 31 in 1985. Potvin had 25 in 81. Bobby Orr had 24 in 1972, Cale Makar had 24 in 2022, and then Evan Bouchard has 23 in 2024. Evan Bouchard is literally putting up Cale Makar-like numbers, and I had been seeing this argument pop up once in a while over the past day or so, saying that, oh, Cale Makar is the best defenseman in the NHL, but right now, Evan Bouchard is a number 2, and it's not Quinn Hughes. We all recognize that Quinn Hughes is probably going to win the Norris because the regular season trophy was voted on at the end of the regular season, but for Evan Bouchard, I mean, is he not making a case for being the Conn Smythe at this point? Take a look at the playoffs and the scoring out of this class over here. Talk about the top 4 guys in playoff points. McDavid, Draisaitl, Bouchard, Nugent, Hopkins. I feel like for McDavid and Draisaitl, this is not new. 1.71 points per game for McDavid, 1.59 for Dry. That's not new. We kind of expect that out of them in the playoffs since they play so much and they play so well. But Evan Bouchard with a 147 points per game, this guy, I feel, is the main Conn Smythe leading candidate because he just came out of nowhere. Okay, maybe not out of nowhere, but he exploded in comparison to expectations, and at this point, I think a lot of people are coming out and saying, yeah, I feel like I was wrong about this dude because he's so much better than we could have expected heading into the postseason. And it's not even just the points. Talk about the impact cards from yesterday's game for Game 5 against the Dallas Stars. Evan Bouchard was the best player on the ice by far out of everybody on the Edmonton Oilers in comparison to Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, Hyman. Broberg also had a really good game. This was a crazy good one for Edmonton, and you talk about Evan Bouchard being that guy, getting those assists. You talk about Philip Broberg getting the goal. This is Edmonton really coming alive here with the offensive weapons that they have, and you had yourselves even Mike Gold going out there and tweeting this. I feel very weird being the one saying this, but Evan Bouchard is that darn good, and the Oilers getting him where they did is probably the single biggest reason why they graduated from a fringe playoff threat toiling away 97 and 29's primes to a genuine contender. Gold then replies, I was a little unsure on the Ekholm acquisition, but he has vastly exceeded my expectations. But Bouchard has grown like few others over the last 16 to 18 months and is legitimately a top defender in the league. He tilts the ice like few others, he benefits greatly from 97, but is also clearly a star. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below as to how I was wrong about Evan Bouchard and how I didn't really think that he would ever be this good. Oilers fans, are you surprised too? Because that's my biggest thought right here. Oilers fans have always been there to defend their guy, right? But are you surprised to see a 1.47 points per game in the playoffs? Probably the leading Conn Smythe guy, but of course that's a little bit predestined. I mean, you have to make the finals and win first before we see that happen. But either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Evan Bouchard and the way that he's progressed the past year or so. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.